The Labyrinth of Crete, the Minotaur's legacy, the adventures of Arin Cade. The warm Mediterranean sun shimmered across the island of Crete as Arin Cade stepped off the small ferry. Before him, the ruins of Knossos rested quietly atop rolling hills, a picturesque scene for any tourist. But Arin wasn't just any tourist. He wasn't here for the ruins people could see. He was here for the secrets buried deep beneath them. In his hand, he held an old bronze compass, its needle spinning in strange, unpredictable patterns. This wasn't just any compass. It was found in a long-lost journal, one belonging to an explorer who claimed it was the very compass of Daedalus, the legendary inventor who built the Labyrinth. Looking at the sprawling ruins, Arin whispered to himself, "Time to find the truth behind the myth." He followed the compass, leaving the main tourist paths and venturing deeper into the archaeological site. People wandered around, taking photos, completely unaware that something ancient and powerful stirred far below their feet. The compass needle, which had been dancing wildly, suddenly froze. It pointed directly toward a cracked stone floor at the far end of an isolated courtyard. Arin approached, his heart pounding with anticipation. He examined the floor and found a carved symbol of bull's head, the iconic emblem of Minoan Crete. He pressed his hand firmly onto it. With a deep, grinding rumble, the stone shifted, revealing a dark, spiraling stairway leading down into the earth. A smile touched Arin's lips. "Of course," he said, his voice echoing slightly in the sudden opening. Daedalus always loved hidden entrances. Without a moment's hesitation, he took his first step into the darkness, descending into the legend itself. As Arin descended, torches along the walls flickered to life, as if sensing his presence. They illuminated a massive underground chamber. The maze stretched endlessly in every direction, towering stone walls, etched with intricate spiral patterns. Embedded within the walls, like metallic veins, were countless bronze gears. Arin took a deep breath, the ancient, dusty air filling his lungs. This is no simple labyrinth, he realized. It's a machine. Every few moments, a low grinding sound echoed through the corridors as walls shifted and paths reconfigured themselves. This was a living maze, constantly changing. Arin reached out and touched one of the enormous gears. He noticed faint, glowing lines of energy pulsing just beneath its surface, an ancient power source still active after thousands of years. It was clear that Daedalus had engineered something far beyond his time, a technological marvel hidden from history. Navigating the shifting corridors, Arin soon reached a large, circular chamber. On the floor were three massive, rotating stone rings, each carved with the images of constellations. It was the first real puzzle. Above the rings, a faded mural decorated the wall. It depicted the famous scene of Theseus raising his sword against the Minotaur. But something was different. The bull-headed creature wasn't snarling or attacking. Instead, it was holding out its hands, seemingly in a gesture of peace or surrender. Arin frowned, studying the mural. The myth might be wrong, he murmured. The story everyone knew was one of a fearsome beast, but this painting suggested something else entirely. He turned his attention back to the rings. He had to align the constellations correctly. Remembering ancient star charts of the Minoan era, he began to rotate the rings, matching the patterns to the Cretan sky as it would have appeared 3,000 years ago. One by one, the constellations clicked into place. When the final ring settled, the walls themselves spun open, revealing a new, previously hidden path forward. The next corridor echoed with heavy, rhythmic, metallic steps. From the shadows ahead, a figure emerged. It was a towering guardian, forged from bronze and shaped like a powerful bull. Its eyes glowed with an internal light, and gears whirred and turned beneath its armored plates. It was another masterpiece of Daedalus, a mechanical protector. "I really don't want to fight you," Arin muttered, quickly dodging a swing from a heavy mechanical arm that could easily crush stone. As he dodged and weaved, he noticed something peculiar. The guardian seemed to hesitate or change its pattern whenever he stepped on certain symbols carved into the floor. Pressure sensors, he realized. It's not trying to harm intruders, it's testing them. This whole thing is an obstacle course. Understanding the pattern, Arin moved with purpose, stepping on the correct symbols in sequence. He weaved through the corridor, the guardian's attacks becoming more like a complex dance than a fight. Finally, as he reached the end of the hall, the mechanical bull deactivated. It lowered its head, as if bowing to acknowledge his skill and intelligence. At last, Arin reached the heart of the labyrinth. A grand circular chamber opened before him, a breathtaking sight. The room was filled with intersecting bronze pathways, strategically placed mirrors, and a shimmering, ethereal blue light that seemed to emanate from the very walls. At the absolute center, on a raised pedestal, rested a glowing crystal sphere, the heartstone of Daedalus. The walls of this chamber weren't blank. They were covered in detailed carvings, a final story for anyone who made it this far. And they revealed the truth. The Minotaur was never a monster. He was a prince, born with a physical deformity that made others fear him. King Minos, his father, had commissioned Daedalus to build the labyrinth not as a prison to contain a beast, but as a sanctuary to protect his son from a cruel and misunderstanding world. The mechanical guardians, the shifting walls, they were all designed to keep people out, to preserve the prince's safe haven. Arin stared at the heartstone, the final piece of the puzzle. So the legend was twisted, he said softly. The labyrinth wasn't about fear. It was about compassion. He reached out and carefully lifted the crystal from its pedestal. The moment his fingers touched it, the stone glowed with an intense, warm light, illuminating the entire chamber in a brilliant flash. The instant Arin removed the heartstone, the floor began to tremble violently. The entire labyrinth was coming alive. Walls started rising and collapsing, corridors rearranging themselves at a terrifying speed. The entire structure was resetting. "Uh-oh," Arin said, his eyes wide. Daedalus really didn't want anyone taking this thing. There was no time to think. He had to run. The maze folded in on itself behind him, the path he'd just taken disappearing forever. The bronze guardians reactivated, their eyes glowing once more. But this time, they weren't attacking. They were escorting him, pointing with beams of blue light, guiding him toward the fastest way out. The compass in his hand vibrated wildly, the needle spinning like a propeller. "All right, Daedalus," Arin shouted over the noise. "Show me the way out." He sprinted through collapsing corridors, the sound of grinding stone deafening. He leaped over shifting platforms that opened up over deep chasms and slid beneath closing stone gates just in the nick of time. The guardians were his guides, their light beams showing him the only safe route through the chaos. With one final, desperate jump, he launched himself through the stairway entrance, just as the stone floor sealed shut behind him, becoming solid and silent once more. Silence fell across the ruins of Knossos. Arin stood in the bright afternoon sunlight, breathing heavily, the heartstone glowing gently in his hand. He looked out across the beautiful landscape of Crete, his mind replaying the truth he'd uncovered. History, he thought, is so often written by the victors, or by those who fear what they don't understand. History remembers monsters, Arin whispered to the wind, but sometimes the real story is about kindness. He carefully slipped the glowing heartstone into his pack, securing it safely. Another mystery solved, another legend rewritten. Arin Cade turned and walked toward the shoreline, the sun on his face, already wondering what adventure, what hidden truth awaited him next. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. If you love unraveling ancient mysteries as much as I do, make sure to like and subscribe for more. See you on the next one.